California man who drove while friend fatally shot sleeping homeless woman with pellet gun sobs as he is sentenced. Here's the recap. Back in May, these two fools decided they wanted to ride around and shoot homeless people with a pellet gun for fun. This resulted in William Innes shooting a 68-year-old woman 6 to 8 times with a pellet, rupturing her aorta. He was charged with first-degree murder. His trial is still pending. Now, Ryan Hopkins, the guy that agreed to come along, the guy that conspired in all of this, he was only sentenced to 6 months in jail with a 3-year suspended sentence, and that's where the math is not mathing for me. A California man who was behind the wheel as his friend fatally shot a sleeping homeless grandmother with a pellet gun while they went hobo hunting, sobbed as he learned his fate Friday. This isn't just stupid kids pulling stupid shenanigans. Ryan Hopkins, 19, pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting assault with a deadly weapon for driving his friend William Innes, who shot 68-year-old Annette Pershal while she slept outside a coffee shop in May, NBC San Diego reported. Just them using the term hunting hobos gives me the indication that they have no idea what it means to be on hard times, that a homeless person is nothing more than a novelty to them, a means to make cheap fun and entertainment at someone else's expense. And think about it, 2 teenagers riding around looking to pick on someone less fortunate. You don't have any girlfriends, you don't have any jobs. What are you really doing out there? I want to take a second to say I'm sorry to all you guys and the pain you have to go through. You're not sorry. You're sorry you got in trouble for it. A tearful Hopkins told Pershal's family in the courtroom, "I'm sorry we all here today. It's hard to call it down the middle. I'm biased." Hopkins received a suspended 3-year prison term, which could be imposed if he violates his terms of probation after serving 6 months in jail. That is a slap on the wrist, and it's a slap in the face to the people who lost this woman. Hopkins' defense attorney told the court Innes shot Pershal with the pellet gun while the client was trying to connect to the car's Bluetooth, hearing his friend say, "Watch this," before opening fire on a sleeping grandmother. It doesn't matter what he was doing when it happened, connecting his Bluetooth, playing around with the radio. He agreed to go out there with his buddy and assault homeless people, resulting in that woman losing her life. This is not shaving cream, it's not throwing eggs or silly string. Somebody died behind this. So 6 months with a suspended sentence of 3 years is not enough. Shooting at someone who was sleeping on the ground in a helpless, vulnerable state, Hopkins attorney Vikas Bajaj asked the court, adding his accomplice actions were disgusting. Bajaj said Hopkins didn't know Innes' intentions when he got into the car. "You're lying." Despite the alleged shooter texting in a group chat that included his client, he was going hobo hunting, which is a filthy term according to the outlet. The prosecution said Hopkins pleading guilty meant he was well aware of the damage he caused. He drove himself and his co-defendant across the street, stopped right before Miss Pershal, who was shot suffering, and they watched 15 to 20 seconds to see if they hit their target, the prosecution argued. In these photos of his punk ass sobbing like they gave him the maximum sentence, he made out like a bandit. These are all alligator tears. He probably went out and partied that night. Pershal's daughter, Brandy Nasworth, said her mother was a beloved figure in the neighborhood, with many residents referring to her as Granny Annie. To find out someone had shot her with a pellet gun, "You don't even treat animals like that," Nasworth told the Union Tribute. She was a person, not just a thing to be used for target practice. Officers found an unconscious Pershal in the early morning of May 8th after being shot 6 to 8 times with the pellet gun. Do not get this confused, because the reason this woman is not here with us today is 100% the fault of the person that shot her and the person that was driving the car. But it makes you ask the question, if she had a living relative in her immediate family, what was she doing sleeping on the streets in the first place? The grandmother was struck in the head, leg, and torso with pellets. One pellet ended up rupturing her aorta. Pershal was quickly rushed to the hospital, with doctors calling her injuries non-survivable. According to authorities, she was pronounced dead on May 11th. Police arrested both Hopkins and Innes on August 3rd. This was a callous, conscious disregard for life, Deputy District Attorney Rosa Ajarian said in May. Innes has been charged with first-degree murder and remains in custody without bail. According to NBC San Diego, he is waiting for his trial readiness hearing later this month.